This is Ag Matters PM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network, brought to you by the Iowa Soybean Association. Your daily recap of the information that affects Iowa's farmers, producers, and consumers, right here in the heart of the heartland. With reports from our award-winning broadcast team of Dustin Hoffman, Riley Smith, and Mark Magnuson. Now, from the IARN studios in Des Moines, here's Mark Magnuson.
Hello and welcome to Ag Matters PM on the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. I'm Mark Magnuson. Today is Wednesday, April 24th, 2024. We're so glad you can join us for today's show. In today's episode, it is the latest edition of Between the Pods. And today's episode features a conversation with Adam Kiel at the Iowa Soybean Association about the Soil and Water Outcomes Fund. It is time now for our closing market summary.
It's time now for the Ag Matters PM Closing Market Summary, your source for market analysis and settlement prices from the day's trade in Chicago, courtesy of the folks at agmarket.net.
Joined today by Tyler Schau of agmarket.net for our closing market discussion. Tyler, what are we seeing taking place in the grains?
A little bit of a continuation from earlier this week. A lot of active buying in the wheat pits, all three classes up over a dime right now. Just kind of pulling the rest of the grains along. Maybe corn got a little bit tired about an hour ago and kind of broke. It was positive on the day. Taking the hit the hardest is your May contract. Don't forget you got option expiration on May corn futures, well, all May grains coming up Friday. Probably some basis contracts got to get priced by then as well. So a little bit of a pressure, kind of cracking that May-July spread for the first time in a couple of weeks. It's really been kind of moving higher on us. And soybeans just kind of hanging out in the middle. Can't really decide if it wants to move higher or lower on the day.
There's a lot of factors right now that are causing wheat to be able to make this movement to the upside. Could you remind us again what's kind of working together to make this price movement that we've seen the last couple of days with wheat?
So it started out over the weekend. There was a news story out of India that they were going to start drawing down some of their wheat stocks, selling it to the public. That kind of started some fuel for the fire. Throw in the fact that the Black Sea region, southern Russia, Ukraine, is dry right now and don't really see a lot of relief in sight. Kind of the same in Europe, a little bit drier than they would hope. And then you got the same thing going on in the hard red winter wheat belt here in the U.S. Some dryness developing in Kansas. Some guys getting kind of worried. I'm not going to say those fears are unfounded. If I was a farmer and it was dry, I would be nervous about it. I do like to remind people it is late April, so we got some time to catch some rains. Maybe a little too early to get too concerned, but it's a good reminder when managed money's sitting on that large short like they are in all grains. It doesn't take much. They're pretty price sensitive. They're gonna, when they start feeling the pinch or seeing some of those profits leave their account, they're gonna start stepping to the sidelines, possibly even reversing and getting long. And so that's just led to this fuel. You've seen about a 60 to 70 cent move up in Chicago wheat within the last 5 trading days. So sizable move there. It's been good. It's allowed some wheat producers up in our neck of the woods to make some catch-up sales. They were getting pretty nervous when Minneapolis wheat was down around the 640 range, back up into the 680 to 690 range, and new crop at $7. So we've been pushing producers to use these as opportunities to get some hedges on.
Tyler, let's flip over to the other side of the ag marketplace. And before we talk cattle and hogs specifically, I want to ask you about a different topic that we don't talk a lot about, and that is the milk price. What is happening with the milk price and what's driving that?
So milk prices got beat up pretty good today. Sometimes you got to be careful with milk because there's not a lot of volume in the milk contracts. So it just kind of depends on what's going on. The last 2 days, we've seen milk kind of fall off. It actually had made a pretty good run. Post the H5N1 avian influenza ordeal that hit 3-4 weeks ago. The second story that I think maybe caused a little more damage in the cattle markets. Cattle markets kind of weak throughout the day, really kind of dove off around 11, a little after 11, and that was that the USDA announced they're going to start requiring testing for avian influenza before cattle can move interstate. So now it's going to be a little bit more like a tuberculosis type deal for producers, or if they want to ship cattle across state lines. Now it's an extra veterinary test. Now, what little I did get to see about it said USDA was going to help pay for that. I don't know how that's going to work. Like I said, just saw the headlines a couple of hours ago, but I'm sure that kind of sent the cattle marketplace into, just more nervous, risk off type trade, and got the sellers inspired to sell some more contracts.
What about with the hogs?
Hogs, I wouldn't say they didn't do much. May was down about $1 today. Of course, that's coming to a close here. Your June, July down 50 cents and a dime. They've had a pretty good run here over the last week, pushing back to the upside of the channel that really has been there since the beginning of the year. And so, you're $108, $110 in July and June, and so it's just up against those levels. We're going to have to bust through them to keep seeing some pressure. Otherwise, it's going to continue to trade in that channel, and this was just a day to sell it.
Tyler Schau of agmarket.net, our guest here today, discussing our closing market summary. Tyler, what's the best way for our viewers to get in touch for more marketing information?
Look us up on the internet, agmarket.net.
Lots of great resources from the team at agmarket.net. Tyler, thank you for the time as always. Appreciate it. Have a great rest of your week.
Good visiting with you. Take care, Mark.
Thank you to Tyler Schau of agmarket.net for our closing market summary. Let's turn now to the closing numbers, which can be found under the markets tab of our website at iowaagnet.com.
May corn closes down 5 1/4 at 437 3/4. May soybeans down 1 1/2 at 1166 even. May soybean meal up 80 cents at 346 even. May soybean oil down 65 cents at 44.66. Chicago wheat up 9 1/2 at 594 1/2. Minneapolis wheat up 12 1/2 at 679 even. Kansas City hard red wheat up 15 1/2 at 624 1/4. May oats down 1/4 cent at 367 even. On the Merc, June live cattle down $1.90 at 175.25. May feeder cattle down $1.95 at 244.10. May lean hogs down $1.22 at 97.35. May pork cutout unchanged at 105.25. And Class 3 milk down 39 cents at 17.74.
That's our ag market coverage for today. It is time now to hear from our sponsor, the Iowa Soybean Association and the Soybean Checkoff. And up next, it is the latest edition of Between the Pods.
Iowa Soybean Association is driven to deliver for Iowa's 40,000 soybean farmers. We're proud to provide objective agronomic research, a helping hand with soil and water stewardship, and timely industry news powered by the Soybean Checkoff. Learn more at iasoybeans.com.
You're watching Ag Matters PM, and it is time now for Between the Pods. In today's episode, I'm joined by Adam Kiel to discuss the Soil and Water Outcomes Fund.
It's time to go between the pods with the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network and the Iowa Soybean Association. For the next year, we will explore the ways Iowa-grown soybeans are making a difference at home and around the world. Now, here's your host of Between the Pods, Mark Magnuson.
Mark Magnuson for the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network, and I'm joined today on Between the Pods by Adam Kiel. We are at the Iowa Soybean Association, and we're here today to talk with Adam. Adam, could you tell us, please, your role within the Iowa Soybean Association?
Yeah, I'm the Managing Director of the Soil and Water Outcomes Fund here at the association.
So let's start with the basics. Soil and Water Outcomes Fund, could you tell us about it and what exactly you do within that program?
Yeah, sounds good. So the Soil and Water Outcomes Fund helps farmers implement regenerative ag practices or conservation practices on their farms and provides a financial benefit for them doing so. We derive the financial benefit from companies that partner with us that want to support farmers. So companies like Cargill and PepsiCo, Target, Walmart, and others are all supporting us in turn to support farmers' efforts.
So when we're talking about those regenerative practices, which practices are we thinking? Are we thinking some of the more common ones, some of the more intense practices? I guess, where are we looking at there?
Yeah, so we really put that decision up to the farmer with our program. So if farmer wants to do cover crops, that's great. If they want to reduce tillage, that's fantastic. Some farmers are doing those practices in combination. Others are doing other things entirely. We're really focused on those in-field practices that work with the cropping systems that we have in Iowa and across the Midwest where we work.
So why is the Soil and Water Outcomes Fund, why is it important to Iowa farmers specifically?
Well, one thing that we're hearing from companies that utilize crops that farmers are producing is companies want and their consumers want crops that are grown more sustainably. So we're here to help farmers produce those crops in a way that's going to keep them in the market for the crops that they're producing and selling. So it's a way for us to kind of get farmers to the point where they can stay in these markets and continue to supply products that are used by companies. And today, companies are willing to financially support farmers, which is great. So we're here to help farmers along that journey because folks like PepsiCo and others don't have the resources with the humans to get out on farms and talk to farmers about these things.
So then you're kind of the go-between. You help facilitate that and then help out with the financial incentive on that end as well. So the farmer says, well, I don't want to put in, too much of my own money into this. What can I do to help out on that end? And that's where you come in.
Exactly. And we've got a team of experts who are out helping farmers enroll in the program. They're also helping provide advice on how to implement these practices and still be successful with producing a crop while meeting the expectations that we have in terms of getting cover crops in the ground or implementing no-till, for example.
So Adam, is it as simple as that then? A farmer maybe that's a little bit hesitant, doesn't know if they want to implement these regenerative practices, all of a sudden they have that financial incentive and maybe a little bit of an extra income stream. Do they say, hey, this does sound like a good idea for me? Do you find that quite often?
We do, yeah. And more times than not, we come across farmers who have experimented with these things on a small scale. Maybe they've tried something on a field or two within their operation. We're a great resource to help those farmers scale up to maybe their whole operation. So that's a way that we can grow with farmers as they feel comfortable with practices. But really, it's either getting in and trying it on a few acres, or for those farmers that are comfortable scaling, it's really taking this to the next level, and we're there to help them with that.
So what is the direct role, what is the direct link between the Iowa Soybean Association and the Soil and Water Outcomes Fund?
Yeah, so the Iowa Soybean Association owns the Soil and Water Outcomes Fund. So we operate that on behalf of the farmer board of the Iowa Soybean Association. And we get a lot of direction from farmers, so that's the direct connection. It's also important to note that we work across many states as well, and we try to interact with commodity groups in other states to get feedback on what works in Illinois or Indiana or Ohio, for example.
So for farmers, does this apply to all farmers in the state of Iowa? Does it apply to just a certain subset? Who should be thinking about this more specifically for their operation?
Yeah, right now, all of Iowa is eligible to enroll in terms of the geography. So every county is eligible in the state. Farmers would need to be growing corn or soybeans to participate. So that's a criteria that we have. But other than that, it's really looking at farmers who are looking to expand or implement these new practices.
So Adam, from your role specifically, are you more on the side of helping to coordinate everything, or are you going to farmers and saying, hey, this is something that we offer, maybe you should think about getting involved?
Yeah, so we do outreach like this, marketing and promoting the opportunity, but really when it comes down to it, we want farmers to reach out to us when they're interested. So we've got an enrollment site. It's our website, theoutcomesfund.com. Farmers go to that site, they sign up. We'll have someone call them or do some outreach with them in about 24 hours so that we can answer questions and help them through the process.
What has the growth looked like for this program since it's been implemented? Yeah,
so we started in 2019, and the acres that year were around 9,500 acres in Iowa. This year, our target goal is around 750,000 acres in the Midwest. So we've seen significant growth in Iowa. We're probably over 200,000 acres in Iowa last year. So significant growth, but we want to continue to grow that as well to meet the demand that we have.
So there is still room to grow this, and you're going to continue to see that year over year, hopefully?
Yes, for sure. We've seen growth in that demand of acres and outcomes over the years, and don't see that changing anytime soon.
So Adam, then the next question, how would a farmer get involved if they hear this, they see this interview, and they say, I think I kind of fit in this category, and I would like to get involved with the program?
Yeah, the first thing I'd recommend is going to our website, theoutcomesfund.com. You can learn more about the program there, connect with us. If you want to take that next step on that website, create an account. I think it's called Sign In. Go there, create an account, and we'll follow up with you, answer any questions, and hopefully get farmers enrolled.
Adam, is there anything else you'd like to let our viewers know about when it comes to the Soil and Water Outcomes Fund and what you've been working on?
Yeah, we're just here to support farmers. We think we're a good opportunity to add value to the farm. So we want to make sure that we're doing that in a farmer-friendly way. And I think that's why the Iowa Soybean Association has supported us over the years, is we're doing this in a way that's farmer-friendly and farmer-first. And again, it's a great way to add value to farms today.
And I guess one more question I wanted to ask you, Adam, what is kind of the review that you get from a farmer that goes through this process and says, hey, this was pretty slick and it worked out well for my operation? What are they saying to you at the end of that result?
Yeah, well, I think the biggest testimonial to that is two things. One, we've got over a 92% re-enrollment rate year over year, which is fantastic for us. We also see farmers in the program growing their acres year over year. So they're re-enrolling and they're including more acres every year. So I see that as a good sign that we're doing something right.
Certainly does sound that way. Adam, thank you so much. Adam Kiel, Soil and Water Outcomes Fund. We are here at the Iowa Soybean Association. Adam, thanks so much for taking the time to join us. Have a great rest of your week.
Thank you very much.
Thank you to Adam Kiel of the Iowa Soybean Association for joining today's show. And that brings us to the end of today's episode. You can find all of our content on our website at iowaagnet.com. You can follow us on Facebook, X, LinkedIn, and TikTok as well. And you can find our video content and previous episodes of AM/PM on our YouTube channel. And don't forget as well our free morning, midday, and closing market podcasts, which are found on Apple, Amazon, Google, Spotify, and Podbean. From the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network studios in Des Moines, I'm Mark Magnuson. On behalf of Riley Smith, Dustin Huffman, and Andy Peterson, we thank you for watching. This has been Ag Matters PM.